Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 89 based on novel. So let's start. As Wang Lin stared at where Liu Mai disappeared to, his eyes turned cold. I can't see through Liu Mai's cultivation, so she must have a higher cultivation level than me, otherwise she wouldn't become Zhu Qiuxi's disciple. Only, I don't know why this woman is coming into contact with me. Wang Lin frowned even harder. He waved his hand and Xu Yun and Liu Wei landed dozens of feet away. Wang Lin wasn't a kind person, but looking at the fact that the two of them passed out allowed him to see through Liu Mai, so he didn't kick them away. Liu Mai didn't take this chance to kill me before my cultivation recovered, so her goal isn't for me to die. Her contact with me seemed to be filled with emotion but also some ruthlessness. This is strange. She definitely doesn't have any good intentions. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy. Shortly after, he waved his sleeves, walked into his cave, and sat down in a lotus position. Cultivation is no longer a problem. Once my origin soul recovers, my cultivation level will return to the mid-stage of soul formation. The most important thing now is to recover my origin soul. I need to find even more powerful spiritual pressure. Only then can I force my origin soul to reform. Wang Lin pondered a bit before disappearing. He reappeared deep underground where the spirit vein for the soul refining mountain was located. This was the lowest part of the spirit vein. 3,000 feet to this left was where the golden flag was. At this range, the Chilean inside the soul flag couldn't bother him. While sitting here, Wang Lin could feel the pressure from the surrounding spiritual energy gathering towards him. Wang Lin took a deep breath and slowly closed his eyes. This time he didn't absorb any of the spiritual energy but used the pressure to quickly reform his origin soul. Time slowly passed. Xu Yun and Liu Wei woke up to find that they weren't outside the range of the cave, so they had a thought. After the two discussed it for a while, they made a small cave near where they woke up and quietly cultivated. On this day, Wang Lin was condensing his origin soul like crazy by borrowing the spiritual pressure from the surrounding spirit veins when he suddenly opened his eyes. Although his origin soul hadn't fully recovered, it was in a much better state than it was a few months ago. Right now there were only 2 T marks left on his face. Wang Lin's eyes sparked. He spread out his divine sense and locked onto the golden soul flag 3,000 feet away. At this moment, an illusion suddenly appeared next to the flag and a roar came out of it. The giant Chilean appeared next to the flag with eyes filled with bloodlust. Roar? The illusion quickly backed up after hearing the roar and quickly took form. Wang Lin recognized this person. He was the head elder of the soul refining mountain, the late-stage nascent soul cultivator who only needed to comprehend his domain to reach the soul formation stage. Damn it! This 100,000 soul flag is getting stronger and stronger. When will I ever be able to refine the flag with my cultivation speed? The old man's face was gloomy. That Chilean beast didn't actively attack the old man like it did Wang Lin. Within its bloodthirsty eyes was a hint of mockery. Damn animal, the old man shouted. The ancestors have decreed that the flag sealed under the 3 peaks belongs to anyone who can refine it. One day you will be my property. Roar? The Chilean snorted and the disdain in its eyes deepened. The old man slapped his bag of holding and a faint, golden flag appeared. He waved the flag and countless souls came out. At the front was a late-stage nascent soul as the primary soul. Behind it were 10 mid- and early-stage nascent souls, and behind them were countless other souls of varying cultivation levels. The old man shouted, 10,000 souls, devour. He pointed the flag at the Chilean and then all of the souls let out roars as they charged toward it. The Chilean raised its eyebrows and moved like lightning. Instead of dodging, it charged into the souls and began to devour them like crazy. This was obviously not the first time the old man had dealt with this beast, so he wasn't shocked at all. The old man watched as the beast devoured the souls. Every time it devoured a soul, it would become a bit larger. With his cultivation level, he originally wasn't a match for this Chilean at all, but he specialized in refining souls. With the 10,000 soul flag, he could just barely hold his own. Shortly after, the old man's hand began to move very quickly. He was forming different seals. Soon, blood began coming out of the pores in his hand. His expression turned very serious, and then a ball of blood appeared before him. The old man shouted, "Blood sacrifice!" Right after he finished speaking, the ball of blood suddenly exploded into countless specks and covered the whole area. The souls devoured by the Chilean suddenly began to move like they had just received a large amount of nourishment. They were trying to leave the Chilean's body. There was a large amount of souls outside attacking the Chilean under the command of the primary soul. The nascent souls could actually use spells to attack as well. As a result, roars came from inside and outside the Chilean. However, the Chilean didn't panic, and its eyes were still filled with disdain. The Chilean suddenly let out a vicious roar. Black gas came out of the golden flag and formed another demonic beast. The two demonic beasts looked exactly the same. The old man's expression became ugly. The last time he fought with the Chilean, he was forced to retreat when the second one came out. Now that he saw it again, his expression became gloomy. He slapped his bag of holding again, and a black light appeared in his hand. The object inside the black light was a bell with a purple wooden handle that had some complex engravings on it. "I traded a very rare treasure for this soul-sealing bell from the soul-sealing mountain just to deal with you," the old man shouted. Then he shook the bell in his hand. As the bell rang, human-shaped beasts with a single horn on their heads appeared and charged toward the Killins. The two Killins continued to roar as they were being trapped. The old man revealed a look of joy as he focused on controlling the treasure in his hand. However, just at this moment, more black gas came from the flag and a third Chilean appeared. The old man let out a frustrated roar. This time he gave it his all and forced out the third Chilean. However, today was also when he felt the most helpless. At first he thought that there was only one Chilean, but when he used his 10,000 soul flag to trap the first Chilean, a second one came out. The second time he came, he lost to the second Chilean. For his third visit, he spent a lot of effort to get the bell but found out that there was a third Chilean. As a result, he couldn't help but think that after the third Chilean there would be a fourth, fifth, sixth. No wonder no one could take this flag away after it's been here for so long, the old man sighed and was about to give up. But a powerful divine sense suddenly descended from all sides. The old man's expression changed greatly. He wasn't able to resist this divine sense at all. He had only ever felt this when facing a soul formation ancestor. However, compared to back then, the feeling was several times stronger. This must be a soul formation ancestor who came out of closed-door cultivation. The old man quivered and quickly said, "Disciple Wu Daoqi greets ancestor." As the powerful divine sense swept by, the third Chilean let out a miserable scream and was trapped by a ray of black light. It roared as it struggled to break free. A cold snort came from the void, then a giant hand suddenly came out of the void and reached toward the golden soul flag. At this moment, the golden soul flag began to move, then 3 more Killins appeared and charged toward the hand. The 3 Killins' eyes were vicious, but there was a hint of dread in them. With one slap from the hand, one of the Killins shattered into countless soul fragments that all panicked and escaped in random directions. The remaining 2 Killins quickly pounced and began to fight the hand. Another cold snort came from the divine sense, and then black gas came from all directions. The black gas condensed into a black lance and stabbed toward the Chilean. Wang Lin wasn't able to deal with this Chilean before because his cultivation level was only at the mid-stage of nascent soul. However, now he had broken through the nascent soul stage into the soul formation stage, so he was basically a soul formation cultivator without a domain. Although he was weaker than normal soul formation cultivators, it was more than enough to deal with this Chilean. A roar more powerful than all the other Killins combined came out of the golden flag, and along with it came a golden aura. All of the other Killins immediately shattered into countless soul fragments after hearing that roar and moved toward the golden aura. As the Killins shattered, Wu Daoqi let out a miserable groan. All of his treasures were fighting the Killins, so he was hurt from the shockwave of the Killins shattering. Terrified, he was about to back up to dodge when a figure suddenly appeared before him. The figure pointed at him and Wu Daoqi immediately passed out. As Wang Lin stood before Wu Daoqi, he reached out and Wu Daoqi's soul flag and purple wood bell flew to his hand. His eyes sparkled as he stared at the golden soul flag. So this is the real primary soul of this soul flag. The other killings were only its commanders. After the golden aura absorbed all of the soul fragments, it let out a roar that shook the entire soul refining mountain. A golden Qilin that looked completely real without any hint that it was formed by soul fragments appeared before Wang Lin. This Qilin looked almost exactly the same as the one Ling Qianhu had, the only difference in appearance was its color. Though its aura was far weaker than the one that belonged to the sword saint, Ling Qianhu. Qilin soul fragment. Wang Lin stared at the beast and reached out. Black gas came from all directions and transformed into a black lance. The golden Qilin let out a roar, then a ball of golden light suddenly appeared before it and smashed toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin moved forward and stabbed with the lance. Bang! After a loud bang that caused the surrounding spirit vein to crack, Wang Lin backed up one step and the ball of golden light dissipated. Interesting. Although Ling Qianhu's Qilin was alive, it couldn't use any spells because it lost its inheritance. Although this soul fragment is much weaker, it can use spells. It clearly still has memories of its inheritance. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He slapped his bag of holding and two bells appeared. He threw the two bells and they closed in on the Qilin. The Qilin raised its front paw and slammed down. This shock wave caused the surrounding spirit vein to shatter and slow down the two bells. Wang Lin snorted. He suddenly moved and lunged forward. The lance flew through the air and pierced through the Qilin. The Qilin let out a roar. Black gas escaped from where it was pierced and turned into soul fragments. Without a word, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and took out the soul flag. With a wave, all of those soul fragments flew toward his soul flag. The Qilin let out a roar and immediately sucked those soul fragments back into its body. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He moved his right hand and the soul vortex appeared. He began to fight with the Qilin over the soul fragments. With Wang Lin distracting the Qilin, the two bells immediately grew in size and closed in on the Qilin. The Qilin snorted out two streams of black gas that turned into two smaller Qilins, both of which pounced at the two bells. Wang Lin's right hand moved and sent out waves of restrictions to seal the two Qilins. Then the two bells trapped them and they were put away by Wang Lin. Looking at the soul fragments that floated out of the Qilin, Wang Lin's eyes sparkled. He snorted and shouted, "Damn animal, if you had the power of your ancestor, I wouldn't be your match. However, you are merely a soul fragment that managed to condense into an illusionary body. Breaking you will not be hard." With that, Wang Lin's hand quickly moved and one by one illusion restrictions appeared. The illusionary restrictions surrounded the Qilin and descended like a net. The Qilin roared and began to struggle, causing the restriction to shatter. However, Wang Lin's hand didn't stop, the restrictions appeared like crazy and continued to land on the Qilin's body. Sweat gradually started filling Wang Lin's forehead as he sent out countless restrictions in a matter of seconds. The Qilin began to roar even louder, but its body began to slow down like it was sinking in water. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He touched his bag of holding and a small flag flew out. This flag was the restriction flag. With a wave of the flag, countless black lances formed before him. Under Wang Lin's command, these black lances charged toward the Qilin. At the same time, Wang Lin's right hand didn't stop, he continued to create soul vortexes. His right hand moved like a ghost, creating one soul vortex after another. Countless black lances stabbed toward the Qilin whose eyes were filled with anger. It shook its body and more than 10 balls of golden light appeared around it. Bang! Several loud bangs could be heard as the lances and balls of golden light collided. Although a lot of the lances were stopped, some still made it past and hit the Qilin. Even more soul fragments poured out of the Qilin's body and were absorbed by the soul vortexes Wang Lin had set up. The Qilin let out a loud roar and began to struggle even harder, causing the restrictions on its body to shatter one by one. Wang Lin frowned. He didn't think that this illusionary body formed by the soul fragment of a Qilin could be so powerful. This Qilin was already as strong as a late-stage soul formation cultivator. If it's given more time to grow, it will soon reach the power of a soul transformation cultivator. Wang Lin's eyes darkened. He raised his right hand and the beast trap flew out. It landed on the side and turned into the god-slaying war chariot. The beast had weakened greatly after the battle with Red Butterfly. However, the moment it saw the Qilin, its body shook and its eyes became filled with greed. The moment the Qilin saw the spirit beast, it let out a roar as if it had just met its natural enemy. It stopped struggling against the restrictions but revealed an intent to battle. When he saw this, Wang Lin was surprised. His eyes lit up and without hesitating, he sent a seal to the chariot. For the first time the beast let out a roar of joy, and for the first time the beast didn't wait for the chariot to open or try to devour Wang Lin. It charged toward the Qilin with the black chain still attached to it. The Qilin let out a roar. Countless balls of golden light appeared before it to block the spirit beast's attack. The spirit beast let out a roar and smashed through all of the balls of golden light. With a bang, the spirit beast collided with the Qilin. Both beasts let out painful groans. The spirit beast had charged too quickly, so the chains on its body were pulled to their limit. The pain from the chains forced the spirit beast to back up. It turned around and attempted to bite the chains, but no matter what it did, it couldn't break the chain. It then turned toward Wang Lin and began to roar. Its intent was obvious. The Qilin isn't a match for the spirit beast. All of the restrictions on its body shattered and it was sent flying while a large amount of soul fragments escaped from its body. The moment these soul fragments appeared, they were absorbed by the surrounding soul vortexes. In the blink of an eye, they were all absorbed. The golden Qilin's body wasn't as solid as before and became more illusionary. As it looked at the spirit beast with frustration in its eyes, it let out low growls but didn't dare to move forward. After all, it was only a soul fragment. When it was at its peak, it was stronger than the spirit beast, but right now it was no match. After the Qilin was knocked away, the golden soul flag became unguarded. Wang Lin quickly appeared before the golden soul flag and was about to grab it. However, the golden Qilin let out an angry roar and pounced at Wang Lin. Wang Lin sneered as his right hand reached out and the chains on the war chariot immediately disappeared. Without the chains holding it down, the spirit beast let out a joyous roar as it opened its mouth and attacked the Qilin. The Qilin let out a frustrated roar. Feeling helpless, it gave up on attacking Wang Lin and attempted to escape. The spirit beast began to chase after the Qilin. A large amount of soul fragments flew out of the Qilin and were absorbed by the soul vortex. Wang Lin grabbed the golden soul flag. Right after he touched it, a cold aura entered his body and went through it a few times before disappearing. Wang Lin revealed a look of joy as he spat out some soul essence blood which the soul flag absorbed. Rise! Wang Lin let out a shout and he pulled the flag up. A massive black gas the size of an arm charged out from where the golden flag was and went through the entire soul refining mountain. From a distance, one could see the black gas shoot into the sky above the soul refining mountain and beginning to spread. At this moment, all of the disciples in the soul refining mountain stared dumbfoundedly at the sky. They had already noticed the roars from underground, but they were simply too powerful, so no one dared to check. The golden rings between the three mountains gently started trembling and a person walked out from the eighth ring. This person's hair was white and his face was gloomy. Just as he was about to go check what was going on, he suddenly stopped as if he had heard something. He turned around and bowed toward the two blood rings. As the ancestor commands. With that, he returned to the golden ring. Wang Lin held the golden soul flag, shook it, and said, "Primary soul Qilin, return." In the blink of an eye, the Qilin that had been forced into a corner by the spirit beast and almost devoured multiple times let out a roar and disappeared into the golden flag. Wang Lin felt the soul flag in his hand tremble. He felt very happy as he quickly put it away. The spirit beast was extremely angry. It already had a deep hatred for Wang Lin, and because he had stolen the prey it was about to devour, it charged toward Wang Lin. Although Wang Lin couldn't truly control the spirit beast, he could still seal it. He pointed at the chariot and countless chains appeared to lock down the spirit beast. As the spirit beast roared in anger, it was slowly dragged back into the chariot and then it turned back into the beast trap. Wang Lin didn't put the beast trap back on but completely sealed it and placed it in his bag. He disappeared and reappeared on top of the soul refining mountain. At this moment, the black gas above the mountain was very thick. Wang Lin stared at the black cloud and began to ponder. The noise from the battle should have caught the attention of the soul formation and above cultivators of the soul refining sect, yet no one came to check. This matter is interesting. Wang Lin stared at the 9 golden rings and took few extra looks at the 2 blood rings. Although he hadn't recovered all of his cultivation, he wasn't afraid. Even if a soul transformation cultivator came, he could still tear open space and escape using the star compass. He vaguely saw a pair of ancient eyes filled with kindness glance at him from one of the blood rings and then immediately disappear. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. This person is? The eyes from the blood light disappeared in an instant. Wang Lin pondered for a bit and his eyes sparkled. Whether I stay at the soul refining sect or not doesn't matter anymore. For my origin soul to completely recover, I will need some amazing pills. Other than that, it would require very powerful spiritual pressure. It's not that I don't have methods, but they are a bit dangerous. Wang Lin looked at the soul-extracting and soul-sealing mountains with eyes filled with determination. He turned into a ray of light as he left the soul-refining mountain and flew toward the soul-extracting mountain. On his way there, a very exquisite woman was calmly watching from him from the side of the soul-refining mountain. She let out a sigh and muttered, "His recovery is simply too fast. If I want to leave my shadow in his Tao heart, I must find out what his Tao heart is. However, I have been unable to see through his Tao heart in our interactions. Senior apprentice Brother Wang, what exactly is your Tao heart?" Wang Lin landed on the soul-extracting mountain and spread out his divine sense before charging toward a cave. The cultivator inside the cave was the person with the highest cultivation level beside the head elder, Su Jinsha. The moment Wang Lin's figure appeared, Su Jinsha, who was cultivating, opened his eyes and revealed an ugly expression. Wang Lin stood inside Su Jinsha's cave, looked around, and calmly asked, "Do you have the soul-extracting jade?" Su Jinsha pondered a bit and nodded. He couldn't see through this person's cultivation level, nor had he seen this person before, but he could tell by his clothes that this person was from the soul-refining mountain. In the soul-refining sect, the disciples of the 3 mountains were allowed to interact with each other. If one had the skill, they could learn all 3 techniques if they wanted to. Su Jinsha had gone to the soul-refining mountain many years ago and got a soul-refining jade. Su Jinsha clenched his teeth and said, "I can give you the soul-extracting jade, but I'm 300 soul fragments short from refining this soul flag into 1,000 soul flag. If you can give me the 300 soul fragments, I can let you look at the soul-extracting jade." Wang Lin looked at Su Jinsha. With his cultivation level, he felt it was beneath him to steal it. He took out his 1,000 soul flag with over 2,000 soul fragments, shook it, and 300 soul fragments flew out. Wang Lin reached out with his left hand and the 300 soul fragments transformed into a black pearl, then he headed toward Su Jinsha. Su Jinsha was also a decisive person. He took out a purple jade and handed it to Wang Lin. He asked, "What is senior apprentice brother's name?" "Qing Mu." Wang Lin took the jade and scanned it. The jade did indeed contain the method to extract a living soul, how to keep it from dissipating, and finally how to use it to refine a soul flag. The soul-extracting jade also had 3 techniques: soul calming, soul luring, and soul poison. Soul calming was the core to soul extracting. If soul calming wasn't used first, the success of soul extracting would be very low. After being used, the success rate increases greatly. Soul luring was the actual technique of pulling a soul out of a living person. As for the final one, soul poison, it was the most vicious and most powerful of the 3 techniques, on par with the soul-refining mountain's blood sacrifice. Soul poison used a mysterious method to turn a living soul into poison that could silently kill. Once it has been refined enough, it will turn into a poisonous soul with the power of a core formation cultivator. If it was just this technique wouldn't be much, but a long time ago, a disciple of the soul-refining sect betrayed the sect and escaped. Using this technique, he went unopposed in a rank for cultivation country and made his own sect called the Demonic Pill Sect. This person used some mysterious method to refine the poisonous soul into a pill and then inject death aura into it to turn it into a green core. He called this the green core method, and this allowed him to reach the soul formation stage. He was considered a genius of his time. A green core and a golden core are very different. You can only have one golden core, but you can have many green cores. He used this method developed from the soul poison technique to reach the soul formation stage. He had tens of thousands of green cores at that point. When he attacked, he would send out thousands of green cores to explode. His power was something even soul transformation cultivators wouldn't want to mess with carelessly. After all, tens of thousands of green cores exploding was already earth-shattering. If he were forced him into a corner where he had to explode all of his green cores, the explosion would simply be too powerful. The soul refining sect never took any action against him for betraying the sect, which confused many people. As the person disappeared, his legend also slowly faded into history. Su Jinsha looked at Wang Lin and asked, "Is senior apprentice brother Qingmu going to go to the soul sealing mountain to get the soul sealing jade?" Wang Lin put away the soul extracting jade and nodded. Su Jinsha bitterly smiled and said, "Senior apprentice brother is better off not going. There isn't a single soul-sealing jade at the soul-sealing mountain. Only soul formation ancestors are allowed to study the soul-sealing jade. The soul-sealing mountain only has a mixture of soul-refining and soul-extracting jades." Wang Lin's expression didn't change. He nodded and then disappeared. When he reappeared, he arrived at the soul-sealing mountain. Then he casually found a disciple and heard the same thing that Su Jinsha had told him. Wang Lin also checked under the spirit vein of the soul-extracting and soul-sealing mountains. Only the soul-sealing mountain had a soul flag under it, and it wasn't very powerful. The soul fragments inside it were also very uneven in terms of power. It took Wang Lin almost no effort to retrieve it. As for the soul-extracting mountain, it was completely empty. It was clear that someone had taken the soul flag many years ago. After finishing all of this, Wang Lin raised his head and looked toward the 9 golden rings and 2 blood rings. After a while, his eyes were brimming with determination. "Whether my origin soul will recover or not will all depend on today. I will fight the soul refining sect soul transformation ancestor. Only under the spiritual pressure of a soul transformation cultivator can my origin soul finally recover. At that moment, I can use the star compass to escape. Even if the soul transformation cultivator wants to catch me, they won't be able to." Wang Lin took a deep breath and his eyes became filled with battle intent. He turned into a ray of light and flew toward the 9 rings of light. In his left hand he held the 10,000 soul flag, and in his right hand he held the restriction flag with 999 sets of restrictions. With both flags in hand, he arrived before the 9 golden rings. Just as he approached, he waved both of the flags. From the soul flag the golden Chileen flew out. Behind it were 9 black killings, and behind them were countless soul fragments. In just one moment, the entire soul refining sect was covered with soul fragments. The endless howls became the only sound in this world. This was the first time Wang Lin had used the 10,000 soul flag. Its power was beyond his imagination. The golden Chileen let out a roar and charged toward the 9 golden rings. Bang! With a series of loud explosions, the Chileen and the 9 dark killings behind it collided with the 9 golden rings, causing them to reveal men and women of various ages. These 9 people were the 9 soul formation cultivators of the soul refining sect. After they appeared, they stared at the killings with shocked expressions. The golden Chileen backed up a few steps, shook its large head, and spewed out 2 jets of black gas that spread out. As Wang Lin stood on top of the Chileen, it hesitated but didn't shake its head. Instead, it stared at the 9 of them with a vicious gaze. "You sure have guts." At this moment, one of the middle-aged women, who looked average among the soul formation cultivators, looked at Wang Lin with a gloomy expression and was about to attack. Wang Lin glanced at her and shouted, "Scram!" A monstrous aura spread out from Wang Lin. This aura was too much for the woman to handle. After all, Wang Lin had recovered his cultivation to the soul formation stage. He was just missing his domain. He was someone who fought against Red Butterfly, so his cultivation was a lot more powerful than most people's. This woman was only at the early stage of soul formation, and although he couldn't say he could kill her easily, it would not be hard either. He had killed quite a few of them already. There was a huge difference between someone who had killed others at the same cultivation level and someone who hadn't. With a shout from Wang Lin and a push from his powerful aura, the woman backed up. Her face was pale and filled with terror. Then she immediately became angry. After becoming a soul formation cultivator, she hadn't been shouted at by someone before. However, she suppressed her anger and sneered at Wang Lin. How could someone who became a soul formation cultivator be stupid? She knew that if this person came, he had to have something up his sleeve. The golden Chileen alone was not something she could fight against. Wang Lin stood on top of the golden Chileen and calmly said, "The 9 of you, make way." Arrogant. A green-robed old man narrowed his eyes, snorted, and pointed his right hand at Wang Lin. A ray of spiritual energy shot out, turned into a chain, and flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin waved the restriction flag and countless restrictions flew out. The restrictions gathered into a black lance and Wang Lin thrusted forward. The lance collided with the chain, instantly shattering it. However, the lance kept going toward the old man. At the same time, Wang Lin waved the soul flag. The Chileen, along with the 10,000 soul fragments, let out roars. As Wang Lin said the word, "devour," all of the soul fragments charged forward. From a distance, it looked like there was a giant gust of wind inside the soul refining sect. Just at this moment, an ancient voice came from inside the blood ring and said, "Little friend, this old man has waited for you for a long time. This video will end here.